Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're returning, and welcome if you're new. I'm Josephine. So today I'll be showing you how to achieve this beautiful and stylish gown. You can rock anywhere, to the church, to the party, anywhere you like. So let's get into the video. So I'm going to start by drafting my front pattern first. So this is for my half cut. It's just like cutting an off shoulder top. So I came down, like I took off 7 inches. So from that 7 inches, I marked 13 inches as my bust point line, then 19 inches for my waist. I added half inches at the lower part. So right now at my bust point, that's the 13 inches, I'm going to mark my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 5. So I'll connect it on a straight line. So on the waistline, I'll go in by 0.75 for my darts on each side. Then I'll connect it to the bust line. So after connecting, we'll go to our starting line. Let's just call it our upper bust. So we'll insert our measurement. You just take your round measurement, your round upper bust measurement, and divide it by 4. Mine is 40, so I'm marking 10 inches. Then at the waist, I'm going to mark my waist measurement, which is 9.5. Then I'll add the 1.5 inch for that allowance. I'll be adding the necessary allowance when cutting it on the fabric. So you connect. So right now from my bust point line, I'm going to go down by 3 inches for my bust darts. So the difference between my front waist and my back waist is 3 inches. So that is why I'm marking 3 inches. So let's cut out. So I'm just labeling it as the front. So this is the back. I went in by 1 inch for the zipper allowance. So from the shoulder, which is 7, just the way we did at the front, I came down by 13 inches for my bust, then 16 inches for my waist, and I added half inch. So right now on the waistline, I'm going to be going in by 0.75. That is where my zip is going to start from. I'm doing that to eliminate zip bulge at the waist. So I'll connect it down to the upper bust line. So from that 0.75, that is where I'm going to start to impute my nipple to nipple measurement for my dart. I will mark a straight line to the upper bust. So I'm going to take my dart 0.75, just the way I did at the front. Then I'll connect it like so. So right now I'm going to take my body measurement. That's my upper bust, 10 inches. You start from that 1 inches, you went inward, you mark. Then on the waistline, you start from that 0.75, you mark 9.5. Then you add your darts which is 1.5, and connect. So let's cut. But before then, I'm going to mark my 1-inch zipper allowance. From that 0.75, I'll go outward by 1 inch. Then I'll do the same at the upper bust. Then I'll connect it. That is for my zipper allowance. So cut. This is it after cutting. This is the back. And this is the front. So when you fold in your 3 inches for the front bust, that the front and the back waist are going to be the same. So this is the lower part for my front. You first of all mark 9 inches for your hip line. Then you go up by 19 inches. That's minusing 19 inches from the lower part. The full gown length is 56. So 56 minus 19, then the total is what you're going to use for the lower part. So right now I'm marking my waist measurement, which is 9.5. I'm adding 1.5 inch for my darts, then 1.5 inch allowance. Then on my hip line, I'm going to take my hip measurement, which is 12. Then I'll add 1.5 inch for allowance. Then I'll connect from the waist to the hip. So on the lower part of the skirt, I'll mark my hip measurement minus 1, which is 12 minus 1 is 11. Then I'll mark 11 and 1.5 inch for sewing allowance. So I'll connect from that line down to my hip line. So this is my front, and please, the front should be cut on fold and 2-piece. That's on fold, 2 pieces of it, the front. So this is the back. I already marked down my 9 inches for my hip line, then the full length, and I went in by 1 inch for zipper allowance, just the way I did at the back upper body. So right now I'm taking my hip measurement, which is 12. Then I'll add 1.5 inch. Then my waist, I'll go in by 0.75. That was what we did at the upper back body. So I'll connect it to my hip line. So right now I'm marking my waist measurement, which is 9.5. My dart and allowance also. So from that 0.75, I'll connect it to my hip like this. Then I'll also connect from my hip line to my waistline. Then for the lower parts, at that zipper part, I went in by 1/2 inch. Remember, whatever we get on our hip line, we are going to minus 1. So for this, I just distributed the 1 inch as half inch. I went in from that zip by 1/2 inch, and I took the 11 inches and the allowance at the other part from that 1/2 inch. So I'm connecting it now to the hip, and I connected the 1/2 inches to the hip too. So right now I'm going to take my zipper allowance, mark 1 inch starting from that 0.75. Then I'll connect it to the hip line like so. And I'll also take the 1 inch downward. Remember, we marked 1/2 inch inward and connected it to the hip. So we are going to mark 1 inch downward for the zipper allowance. I will connect like so. Let's cut it out. So this is it after cutting out. So you're going to cut these two pieces, not on fold, please. The front should be on fold and two pieces. On fold, two pieces. Don't forget to add the necessary allowances. So I'll be cutting it on this beautiful crepe material. I use 4 yards of this material. So I'll cut it and bring it back for us to see. So this is it after cutting. I added my allowances. So this is the front upper body. And this is the back upper body. So this is the lower front body, the one I asked to cut on fold, two pieces. So you can see it's two. And this is the back lower body. So right now I'm removing the pins. Don't forget it's on fold. I'm going to take it to my sewing machine. I'll sew in the waist dart and the bust dart, and I'll bring it back for us to see, and I'll do the same to the back bodice too. So for the lower front bodice, I'm removing the pins. As you can see, it's on fold and two pieces. So I'm going to sew in my dart too. I'm also going to sew my back lower bodice dart, and I'll sew the zipper allowance with the 1 inch we left, and I'll bring it back for us to see. So this is the front upper body after sewing in the waist dart and the bust dart. And this is the back. So this is the front lower body. I sewed in the dart, and this is the back. So the front lower body, remember it's two piece, so this is it. This is the two fronts. And the back, after sewing in the darts, I sewed in the zip allowance with 1 inch. So right now I'm going to place the two front bodies on it. So I'm going to be calling the inner one the inner front, then the outer one the upper front. That's this one I'm placing now is the inner front. Then this one is going to call the upper front. Let's use that, please. So right now from the lower part of the upper front, I'm going to mark up 7 inch, like so. So I'm going to connect it from that 7 down to the waistline of the other side. That's this side, and I'm going to curve it down to that 7-inch I marked upward. I'll use my curve ruler to do that. This is for the upper front, remember, just the upper front. After curving it to that 7-inch, I'll cut it out. So this is me cutting it out, just the upper front, please. So after cutting it out, I'm going to remove the inner front from it. I'm going to remove the inner front. So I'll place the upper front on the back piece like so. Then from that 7-inch I marked upward from the front, I'll mark the same line on the back like so. So I'm going to connect it on a straight line to the other end of the skirt, just the way I'm doing now, like so. Then I'll cut it out. So right now I'm placing the inner front on the back piece, making sure this waist matches. So at the lower part I'm marking 10 inches, then I'll connect it to the waist like so. So I'll remove the back, then I'll cut. So this is the inner front, this is the back. I'll put in the inner front. This is the inner front. Then I'll put the outer front or the upper front. This is the upper front. So this is it. This is what I want. So right now I'm going to take the 2 front lower bodies to the machine and sew it by 1/4 of an inch. After that, I'll take the upper front body and the lower front body and sew it in by 1/2 an inch at the waistline. Then I'll bring it. Then for the lower front body, I'm going to open that 1 inch down for the zip. Then I'll sew the upper back bodies and the lower back bodies with 1/2 an inch. Then I'll bring it back for us to see. So this is it after joining the upper front body and the lower front body. This is it. So this is the back. After joining, I went ahead to insert my zip. So right now I'm going to place the front bodice on the back bodice like this. I'll sew in the 1/2 inch at the upper part. Then I'll take my body measurement and sew in. Then I'll bring it back for us to see. This is it after sewing. I've joined the front and the back bodies together. I left that side open so that after sewing in my 1/2 inch allowance, then I can close it up. Our gown is almost ready. So right now is remaining our sleeve. So for the sleeve, I want it to start from my front waistline to my back waistline. My front waistline is 19, while my back waistline is 16. If you add them together, it's 35. So I'll be adding 1 inch. That's 36. So I'm going to cut a long fabric of 72 inches. That's 36 times 2. That is for one side, and the other side, same thing. So the length of the fabric will be 72, while the wideness I want it to be 10 inch. So this is it. I've ironed and air stayed to it. So I'm going to turn it like this. That's the 10-inch wideness. I'm going to turn it and sew in by 1/2 inch. After sewing it, I'll turn it. Then I'll turn the edge like this and close it. So this is it after sewing and ironing it. So right now, start folding it. Watch the way I'm folding it. I picked up face front. Also picked another one to face that front too. Just watch the way I'm doing it. So I'll pick another one. Then I'll sew at the middle straight. Then I'll bring it back for us to see. So this is it after sewing it. So right now I'm going to mark where I want the sleeve to be. So from my upper bust, I marked inward 5 inch, and from my waist also I marked inward 5 inch. So I'm going to place the sleeve from my waist, my front waist line. You secure it with a pin. You turn it to the back. Also mark the 5 inches and place it there. Also secure it with a pin. Then take it to your sewing machine and sew it straight to the upper bust. So this is it after sewing. The sleeve, I just went ahead to use my bias just to make a design at the middle. So our dress is totally ready. I've sewn in my 1/2 inch at the lower part. I've also joined my sleeve, and voila, our gown is ready. So you can rock this dress anywhere, anytime you want. Thank you guys for watching so much. I really appreciate you and I love you. Thank you for your support. If you're just coming across this video, please don't forget to subscribe. Please drop your comments in the comment section and I will be going through it. Thank you guys. See you in my next video. Bye bye.